Alright guys, today marks my 4-year anniversary of stopping porn and masturbation. I'm going to get into a lot of stuff. I want to talk about who I was beforehand, why I made the change, and why I committed to that. And tell you some things that are in roadblocks that I hear from a lot of people and that were also in my way as well. I am doing a different style video than you're used to. This style tends to be pretty popular, so hope you enjoy and get a lot out of this. First, as I always say, I spend a lot of time making videos, editing videos, researching videos, sharing my own experience. Takes hours and hours and days and weeks and months. All I ask is in return that you just take 4 seconds to subscribe to my channel and possibly like or comment as well. So me before porn, I grew up like a really shy kid. You've heard that story before. And, you know, I probably would have married the first girl that dated me. And not many friends, shy all through high school. Never had sex until I was 19 years old. Started masturbation and porn around maybe 10 or 11 years old. And first time I had sex, it wasn't good. I mean, most people's probably isn't, but for the rest of my life, it really kind of plagued me with the fact that I could never orgasm from sex. It was always orgasming through masturbation and probably and most likely porn. So I would meet with a girl, we'd have sex, I'd fake an orgasm, and roll over, then maybe jerk off after that. So there was a lot that transpired. All through my 20s, it wasn't a big deal. It actually turned into a sex addiction, and the internet was just coming around. So it was really easy, actually, believe it or not, to meet girls that wanted to hook up. I think, later down the road, I realized they were girls that had the same problem as I, looking for some self-validation, all kinds of things. But what happened is as I got older and I decided maybe I might want to try a relationship, I started having like sexual dysfunction inside of a relationship. I also had a life where I guess I was pretty successful in any jobs or work that I had, but never happy. And the older I got, I just felt like I just couldn't connect with people. Most people probably disagree. They always thought I was funny, outgoing, and things like that, but it was just a masquerade and a shell of who I felt like inside. And I just was becoming numb to the world. I lost my parents, I lost a godson at the age of 7, so there was a lot going on in my world, but I powered through it, and I thought, man, is this all there is to life? Nothing interested me anymore. Meanwhile, it was just all porn, all sex addiction. Hooking up all the time. I tell multiple stories how there's so many things that I've done, maybe sexually, that, I don't brag about it, but it's a lot of things most guys like fantasize about, but I've either done it and forgot about it. It's not a big deal, but again, it's not a brag. It is something that just was, and it affected my life. So as I got older, I had a relationship break up, and she thought I was cheating on her because sexual arousal was completely gone, was getting erectile dysfunction inside the relationship. And so it was she just thought I was cheating on her. She thought something was going on because it had completely changed. And I assured her, like, that's not the case. It's like, I'm so in love with you, but I just lost the inability or the ability to connect sex with intimacy. And it just felt awkward. Sex felt awkward with somebody that I liked and that I enjoyed and wanted to be around. And so I decided I needed to figure this out. And a friend of mine asked at the time, do I watch porn? I said, fuck yeah, I watch porn just as much as the next guy. Porn's healthy. Porn, relaxes me. Porn eases stress. And I'll get into that in a second. Most of all that's true, short term. And it wasn't until later I realized, or actually took his words. It was about 2 years later where I was struggling. And I said, I'm just going to consider what he talked about. And that was maybe around 2015. And so I started to try. I started to quit porn. I was gaining some headway, but I never really took it serious. And then I moved back to Colorado, and I kind of fell back into my own ways. I was having hookups, watching porn, masturbating. I was just getting depressed, stressed out, anxiety, and so much was going on. And then I finally had the epiphany that I knew there was a life that I wanted. And after doing enough research and experience a little bit, I realized porn was never going to allow me the future I wanted, ever. And that was the day that I actually quit. It was March 21st, 2017, and 4 years ago today. So, but you know, there's a lot of myths around that. You know, my life did start to change, but it wasn't the aha, miraculous, guru type thing that people talk about, because there's a lot of factors that are at play here, and we'll get into that. But number one is, if you just quit and force your way through it, you're going to relapse. You have to put systems in place and a different mindset into place, personal development, so many other things that are going to help you succeed. And is what I learned, where most people seem to fail, is they just quit and expect results. You have to put the work and have the mindset change. And is what I realized is I was going to have to give up a complete identity. I was going to have to change my identity, who I was. For the previous 25 years, I was Bill, this guy who hooked up with all these women and had, you know, great experiences and great stories. People came to me to, you know, to hear these things and learn and laugh. And I thought, yeah, I'm that guy. And if I was going to give all that up, who was I going to be? You know, I had no idea. And so I realized that was going to be the mindset I was going to have to change. In addition, is what we don't realize is porn over a period of time and masturbation together becomes a security blanket for us. It becomes that place that we can hide, where we can cope. It takes away the anxieties I mentioned short term, takes away the stress, but long term, it exponentially increases it. Your stress and anxiety just compounds on itself. And from there, we realize that if we're going to quit porn, we have to learn and understand how to be present and deal with life straight on without any security blankets. And we have to be powerful in that front. And once you do all this and put it together, you start looking at the things that instead of that you're going to lose, like the porn, your security blanket, and your coping mechanisms, you start focusing on all the things that you actually can gain, which is much more powerful. And to me, that was connection with people, with myself, and the world around me and the earth around me. Once I placed focus on that, my world really opened up. And years of personal development finally came back into play. I used all of that, and things started to really change for me. But what I didn't anticipate was that if you're not careful, something else is going to creep in. For me, it was opioids after a car accident. I was addicted for close to 8 months, worked with an actual medical doctor to get off of that, a tapering program. I also used the techniques that I used on quitting porn for that. Shortly after that, I was burning the candle. I was being very successful at work, but I just couldn't function anymore. I was too fatigued. Somebody introduced cocaine to my life. Wow, that was an issue. And you know, previously I had quit porn. Everything's going great. Well, I realized all these little addictions started popping into my life to try to replace that. And it was that point in time I realized I have to go deeper and figure this out. And that's when I really started these systems and working on the issues and the inability to cope in the present without any sort of a safety net. And it was the personal development. It was really the focusing and connecting on people, learning with gratitude, different types of skills, learning about myself, and most of all, being honest with myself, and being completely vulnerable in that space and willing to learn, but most of all, sharing my story. The day I shared my story with close to, I think, 25 friends of mine, they were blown away. And they all reached out and they were like, wow, you know, I've never felt closer to you as a friend. In addition, I've dealt with similar things in my life, and I thought I was the only one. And there were so many things that we started uncovering as friends, which was the inability to connect with people, depression, anxiety, lack of motivation, lack of interest in work and your job, lack of interest in your hobbies, most of all in women. We had a completely different viewpoint of women. It was transactional. It's like, what am I getting out of this relationship? What are you providing? What are you providing monetarily? 3 years after I quit, within the 3 years after I quit, my entire outlook on women changed. I was actually able to reconnect, and the ability to actually attract women was amazing. I really had that experience, and most men will have that. But it's because you become more in tune to women, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and who they are as a human being. And they are drawn to that. And I was drawn to that. So I was able to start building real connection at that point in time. And so I urge everybody to look at that. What is porn doing to you in your life? And change your focus of what you have to give up, and quit trying so hard on that, and focus on everything that you have to gain. But at the same time, make sure you're putting systems in place. Again, since I quit porn masturbation 4 years ago today, I have never been happier. Every day I'm excited to wake up. I quit my job, started a new career. I now coach men. This is what I do. I became financially independent, and most importantly, I found the love of my life. She's amazing, beautiful, smart entrepreneur of a woman, and I've never had a connection like this with anybody. And so it's real, but you have to stay committed to it, and just stay on track. So everybody, feel free to reach out. I've got a program, I've got ways to contact me, but get it, you have to replace it. You can't just quit cold turkey. All right, I appreciate you guys.